Okay. Okay, so is everything ready? I think everything is ready. So, this is what I'm calling a studio rough cut. Um, just me painting. I don't know how things are going to turn out. It's just something I fancy painting that I'm videoing. And I've been away from the videos for quite a while and I've got out of practice with it. It's kind of become a sticking point. So it's a case of sticking the cameras on, painting, and just getting used to it again. I hope it's useful to people. Um, so today we're going to be doing this scene. Let me put you over to canvas. So this scene is a florist's shop just around the corner from me. Let me just make it a little bigger. And I've always liked the front of it. I just think it's an interesting shaped building. And I've cropped this so it's got the little greenhouse thing on the side and then a bit of a, I think that's a barn. And I'm just going to do a sort of a small sketch, nothing fancy, nothing like a finished painting, just to see how it comes out. Okay, so I'm going to do it, I'm doing this on, this is an Arches pad, and it's going to be probably around this big. I'll just quickly show you my palette while we're here. I don't have huge numbers of colours. I have a greenish yellow. This is Hansa yellow, cadmium orange, which we probably won't use, yellow ochre, vermilion, permanent rose, burnt sienna. This is cobalt teal or cobalt turquoise, one of the two, but it's like it's a turquoise. Cobalt blue, ultramarine, cerulean, and black. And over here are two tryouts that are dried up in the wells because they were guest colours and they didn't make it to a permanent spot. Okay, let's put it back on canvas. Right, so let's just do a little bit of drawing. And I'm not quite sure how I'm going to crop this actually. Maybe the crop I've got is okay. Let's do some drawing and see how it looks. Let me just stick this on zoom. I've also got a new camera set up. That might be better for drawing, mightn't it? Here. And the camera's just slightly angled from one side, which I think gives you a better view of it, what is actually going on. Right, mechanical pencil. What is this? 0.7, 0.5? All the numbers have rubbed off it. Just a normal, I think it's probably a, I don't know, HB. It's just a normal softness pencil. Right, so let's do a bit of drawing. Okay, put some horizontal in for that top of the roof. It's not going to be very big. I'll do this fairly quickly. Just to see how the values work, see how the colour works. It's quite narrow, that bit, isn't it? Trying to keep my horizontals horizontal, which I seem to be failing to do. Right, that's kind of long, that probably comes across there. Bit of that sign. I'm not putting in hard rectangles for this, I'm just indicating where they're going. You just make that tiny bit taller. And I'm not sweating perfectly accurate proportions. Right, some of these uprights. The second upright just comes in slightly inside there. That little car. I'm going to put the car in. And then some gubbins next to the car. This upright. Actually, they came out fairly okay widthwise. Okay, this comes across a little bit more. Yeah, and that tree comes in. Yeah, okay, good. And I don't know if I'm going to draw in. Just looking at the stuff under here. Maybe just indicate door, that'll do for that. And over here, there's a big value change. I have no idea what this thing is that's sticking out. White thing. I can't see from here. My reference is actually quite a way away. I can't see what's going on. So all this stuff is going to go in with quite loose marks. Right, and this comes up to the top of this. It's around about here. That's comes down. There's bushes here. I'll just indicate roughly where that door is. There's a pole. Pole in. A light, I think that is, that comes out. And then the side of this barn. It won't come up that far, not that much higher up than the top of the florist. Maybe I've made this too small, never mind. It's a rough cut. Now this actually goes this way, a little bit of perspective, kind of eyeballing. That's dark down to here, there's some grass. Bush. It's this path that comes across. I think that will go in actually. So it goes kind of wider here. Then this bit of grass comes out. Okay. Right, and trees, they're a bit solid back there. This is a big, huge swathe of trees. Let's simplify these a little bit. Okay. And I think a tree back here, although this is... make something up here. There we go. Okay. Well, that's the drawing. Let me put it on. I've got a new overhead camera. There we go. And we have, oh, which I don't have a keystroke for the overhead zoom. Let me see. Can anyone see that? I don't think you can you? Oh, I think my overhead zoom camera has failed. That's why. Well, there we go. Should have checked that ahead of time, but didn't. How's that? Will it suddenly appear? Here it is. Oh, it's gone sideways. Well, I did say this is going to be rough. Ha ha ha. There we go. Okay. Now, just going to try a bounding box around here. I think we want some foreground. Come down this tree. Yeah. Sky. A bit more tree out here. And we're going with that. Let's try that. I'm just looking at the shapes. Yeah, let's try that and see how we do. Right. Okay. Right, we're all ready for paint. Haha. Right. So paint. Let's put on some lights, the things that are in the high value areas. So we've got some sky. Got the front of the shop. Now these uprights are quite bright, so but I think I can take them down slightly in value. It's only to the value of the top of the shop. The greenhouse is light. Side of this barn is light. Okay, let's do a bit of sky now. I have to make sure my brush is clean for this. I am terrible. Sorry, I'm just reaching over for some paper towel. I am terrible at not washing my brushes, and then I end up with green skies. Alright, now let's just lift that bit. Start with some cerulean. I'm just saying, I'm going to kind of do put some on, just leaving a strip of light just diagonally through there. Oh, orange. Actually, orange wouldn't have been so bad, actually, but anyway. Just water on there, taking the white of the paper out. A little bit more. Okay, that'll do. That'll do for the sky. Probably left some blossoms in there. But never mind. Okay, so the trees are going to be very dark, so I'm going to leave those. So let's do it's kind of, it's beige, very low chroma, brown. So a little bit of burnt sienna. And I could, yeah, let's put some ultramarine in this. I was going to say put some black into this to take the chroma out, but I think some, does that look like too blue? Yeah, let's try that. Now this is Archie's paper, which is very, very thirsty. It's going to look very light at the end. I don't think I'm going to go through the roof. I'm going to leave that. And the darks are going to go around it, so I can be fairly. Let's just go over all of this. I know there's lots of shadows in there. They can go in later. My palette is grubby now too. Just a little bit. This is mainly to take the glare off the paper. Right. I'm actually going to put. Yeah, I think I am going to put just some colour inside those shadow bits. Car is kind of blue, isn't it? I won't go over that, I don't think. There's that little white piece there. Okay. Right. I'm mainly worried about the values at the moment. I can always go darker. Right, let's put in some of this grass while we're here. Maybe a slightly bigger brush for this. Actually, this is a much bigger brush, which does take a lot of water. a little bit of yellow. Yeah, I'm going to take it down with some black, which will make it kind of olive green. And I'm going to put in a little bit, actually, let's do some cerulean again. I don't want to go too blue, otherwise it looks a little stark. Alright, I'm going to need more. I'm not used to... I haven't been using this brush very much. And you kind of have to get a feel for them. Alright. I'm going outside the lines, but I don't mind. Just a little bit up here. Just looking to see if I should be careful in some areas. Alright, okay, I should put that brush down. I'll put some, there's my spray bottle. A little bit of texture in there. Try not to overdo it. I'm just going to take my other brush, which is no water on it, just to pick up that bead there since we don't need it. Okay. Right. Okay, that's that bit. I'm going to let that dry just for a couple of minutes. I'll put it on pause. And I think next, I will go in with those back trees, which will leave these foreground bits to do. So I'm just going to put them on pause for a couple of minutes and then we'll come back. Okay, so it's dried a little bit. It's quite warm in here, so it's not going to take much. And it's looking kind of, you know, bleh at the moment, but that's fine. Now let's go in with the darks of these trees. They are pretty dark, they're not black, so we need to be able to go darker here and darker there. So let's mix up another green. I've been bad again and let my paints dry. Charles Reed would not be pleased with me. Right. Okay, my Hansa yellow, a little bit of black. I'm going to put in a bit of cobalt in here. That's not going to be dark enough. A little bit more black. Tad more blue maybe. Yeah, that might work. I think we'll have to go slightly darker on them. Let's put in these trees. Now, the top of this shop needs to be straight. I've been quite careful with that. And I'm just going to smoosh to get some nice irregular shapes. I'm going to leave a couple of holes in there. Right, now this comes down the front. Some nice irregular bits here. With a shadow down the side. How does this go? It comes from here. I think that tree does come in front. Alright, and then we come down to the bottom, which is very dark down here. Okay, right. And this one, I have that very straight, did I? Okay, and then this one And this, I'm putting this dark just by the corner of this shop. Just carefully going around the edges because I want that to be crisp, and also the side of that roofy bit. Okay, I think it's going to have to go a little darker. Now there's some white pole type things here. It's around the side of this. I'm using kind of the full length of the brush to do these straight lines. Comes down here, just leave some space to show general gubbins. And I think that will have to go in with some white. It's fine. Now this I think will be okay. So the shadow on the side of this barn is very, very dark, and my green isn't quite as dark as it will be. Again, just a few little sparkles of white paper in there. Then a little bit. Would that be too much? I don't think it needs much up there. All right. Yeah, okay, that's good. That's good. Now, while I'm here, I think this needs to be strengthened now I'm looking at it. Anything else? This fairly dark green. There's some bushes down the side of the greenhouse. And I'm just looking at general shapes. Yeah, I'm trying to leave that bottom line kind of choppy. My brush is still a fairly big brush. Yeah. I'll just join that dark up. I'm not doing any softening here, note either. Right, which will do just for that bit there. Okay, just a couple of little accents. Just on the edges of this. This maybe should go in after I've strengthened the foreground a bit, but they're going in now. Okay, right. Yeah, it definitely needs to go darker. But it's a good first pass. And let's put in something of this roof. And it's quite a bright, well, brightish red. It's not a Zeppo red. Let's start with some Vermilion, which I think is going to be too bright. But I think the hue is probably close. A bit more, just a little bit of my pinkish red, just to pull it slightly over. Yeah, okay. Right, now it's got white bits on it. I wonder if I can dry brush these things. Let's have a go. It's kind of across. My head's probably in the way terribly here. I apologise for that. Trying to not gussy with it too much. I'm going to be fairly careful with this pointy bit here. Right, just dabbing this on a paper towel. Oh, I missed one, didn't I? Oh, never mind. It's gone now. It's gone now. This could have benefited from being a little bit bigger, I think. Okay. Right, that's going to look weird. But I think I'm okay with that. Right. Now, let's try. I'm going to put a second wash over these underneath bits, but I'm not going to go very, very dark yet. There's some white pieces under there, the trim around the doors, and they look fairly dark, but they're not. We need to be able to go a little bit darker to get the windows, etc. Let's have a little bit of a clean up. So grey, so ultramarine, maybe some cobalt, why not? We're not going super duper dark, probably needs to be a little thicker than that. And bluish grey, it's probably bluish, yeah, okay. Now, there's some whites I do need to leave. There's that little bit of, what's a hanging basket on that left hand side. Right, now this synthetic is nice, but the tip of it is going ever so slightly. Fluffy. Just another brush bring in just to soften that bottom. It gets slightly lighter towards the bottom. Also, I've gone into my white up right now. I'm concentrating, so I'm finding it hard to talk. And windscreen on that car. It's also very dark, but I'm going to put it in now. There's a white bucket or something down there. Then just a little bit this side. Just goes around. I don't know what that is. Is that a, I don't know what that is. Could be a fridge for all I know. Door. Just leaving the bottom edge slightly rough and ready. Right, now this one could be tricky because we've got plants and pots and goodness knows what. At the top is definitely dark. Right. Pot. Doesn't have to be super accurate, but I'm just leaving some paper sparkles in. Maybe I should put some green in there. So how that's looking, probably terrible. No, it's not so bad. Could be a lot worse. All right, now I'm just going to loosen that up a little bit. Just take the value down. I don't know what these things used to be. Signs? Windows? Don't know. Right, let's put that sign on while we're here. Now that green is different from the green of the trees. It's definitely more blue. Come on. A little black. Oh. A bit more blue. Swung it too far. Yeah, a bit more blue. Still not blue. Actually, let's try a bit of turquoise whilst we're here. No. Misjudged that. Quite severely. Okay, now the lettering I will put on afterwards. Going to make that slightly darker. The sign. Okay, it's looking a little pasted on, but I think I'm okay so far. Actually, before I'm going to put it on pause in a couple of seconds. I want to beef up that foreground. I'm going to keep using this brush, I think. It's just not strong enough. Yeah, okay, just loosen it up a little. It's not quite strength I wanted. Now I bet that's gone too dark, isn't it? Yeah, it probably has gone too dark. Again, I've kept it fairly yellow. The side piece. Right, I'm just going to sparkle that with some spray. Okay, I'm wondering whether I should put something on the side of this. Nice clean brush, I don't want it to be green. Okay, and again, that's kind of a bluish grey. I'll come down here for this. Didn't clean that very well. Just looking at the value of that. I suspect that's surprisingly dark. I'm just going to wet the top bit because I want that to be soft. Just a little bit. This brush is not the best. This. From the side. And here, make that straight. There's the door. And then down here. And underneath this. Okay, how does that look? Kind of weird, I think. I think it should look weird right now because we have We have more darks to go in. Okay, I think that will have to be taken down a bit more. I don't know, that's maybe not so bad. Okay, right. Again, I'm going to put it on pause. And I'm going to come back and put in the darkest darks and see how it fares with those. Okay, so we're back. I've just taken the stand back, had a look at it, and it's looking very flat, which is fine. Don't panic at this point. I'm trying not to panic. You have to trust you'll be able to bring it back again. I'm going to move to a smaller brush. I think this is an 8, maybe an 8 Escoda Reserva. Let's go in with the darkest darks. And I've got a second brush handy to do some smoothing with. Right. Okay. Now I'm going to try and join all my darks together as much as I can. So let's do some Ultramarine. I really need to soften up my paints a bit. This is very bad practice. Don't do this. So I want a stiffer mix. Maybe put a little bit more ultramarine out. Right. Smidge more water. Right. This is make or break time. Where shall I start? I'm going to start around the car, I think. Hopefully this brush points well enough. I'm squinting like crazy at the reference. Trying to not get my noggin too much in the way. It helps if you stick your tongue out for this bit too. So it's just quite crisp around this car. There's another bit of something car-like stuff back there, so I'm not going to fill everything in. Make that nice and crisp, nice and sharp at the top, but as it comes down I'm getting a bit looser and that dark goes across. Down. It's really quite crisp in there. I know there's a strut that comes out there, but I'm not going to put that in right now. Yeah, there's a little dark bit comes in here. Okay. I'm looking for areas of greatest contrast. I'm going to put that. That's the back of the car, isn't it? Obviously. Just a little sliver. Leave a couple of gaps. And here, kind of merges. I'm going to join that dark on. And there's some gubbins down here. And then under the car, it's very dark. Straight across there, a couple of wheels. And a shadow underneath it, which does come out a little way. Pardon me. The door. I'm just looking at the reference, and where I see a bit of dark, put a bit of dark in. It's like looking, it just needs to be Okay, there's all these. If I can put these in with this brush. How's that looking? Maybe it's okay. I think that's. Pardon me. Tell I haven't been talking much recently. Okay. Right, let's just come back over here. It's dark over here. Not really this colour, but aiming for values. So let's put that in, and then we go across here and put in this straight dark. And I'm leaving little gaps here and there. If they're too many, we can come back and fill them in. But taking them out again is kind of tricky. There's that little hanging basket thing. I mean, I could have put this stuff in afterwards. I'm kind of just seeing if it would work without doing that. Comes down here. A bit more fluid in that. A bit more. I want it to be dark, but I do want it to flow. All the way up. Looking. There's a sliver down here. Maybe I do like the way that card John is on there, which is nice. It's going to put some dark. I know it's actually green out here, but from the point of view of values, I'm going to put it in with grey. A little bit of the green will show through. So. Light there. Right. And those little window things do come down. Be particularly careful with that. Okay. No, I'm going to leave that. There is a bit more colour back there, but probably not too much. Okay. Just going to loosen this up and lighten it slightly. Just take the value up slightly. Take the side of this car down. Yep, that'll do. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. Okay. I'm here. Shadows just down there. I've got to be very crisp with this. Shadows around the sides of these things. I hope I'm not completely obliterating your view. I'll watch it back later and cringe, no doubt. Is that too much? Could be too much. Okay, I'll just put it on overhead. Put it on overhead zoom, I think. See what it's looking like. It's not too bad. I mean, it's not great, but it's not too bad. I like the shapes underneath the awning. It's not really an awning. I don't know what I call it. Porch roof, maybe. I don't know. Just checking everything's. I have gone out of horizontal a little bit. Okay. Okay. well, that's what we have. Let's go with that. Now let's put some of these green darks in, and I'm going to mix up a different colour for that. This is going to be too, I'll use it as a base. A little bit of yellow in this. Not sure what this is going to turn it. Okay. Black. I've also got the fans on in here, so the paints are drying out very, very quickly. A little bit of blue to make it a slightly bluer green. Nice and dark. Right, now I'm going to go across here. Let's see if we can do this. Make this brush point a little bit. It's looking and looking. There's a little bit of dark here. See if I can paint this. I kind of like this bit. The strut comes out. Go up there. And this kind of comes all the way across the side. Could have left a little bit more gap there, Clint. And comes down to a little red barrel thing, which I think will provide a nice accent when we finally get to putting it in. Let's trim that up a little bit. Kind of dark here. They're in shadow. I'll do a bit of softening in a minute. Okay, yeah, and they're all kind of joined up, which is what I wanted. Now up here, it's going to be tricky because I've made up these trees. Softening brush. To stop those hard lines. Just a couple more darks. These are kind of accents. I'm just going to pop a few bits in here. These are just kind of marks that will make it look interesting more than anything. Okay, now the rest of these trees. Try and make this make them lighter at the top because that's where all the light is. Just indicates some of the shadows. Maybe I should have put some water down. Yes, nice. Paint is drying very, very quickly. Unfortunately, it now looks as though I really have just painted around that house. Sure. Right, let's do that left-hand side. It's only really kind of a few little bits. So looking at this, it's dark under here, which is what you'd expect. It's into it. Okay, I don't know quite what that's doing, but I'm going to leave that there. It's not one of my rules that if something isn't really working, leave it, go away, come back. Okay, right, it's not so bad. I've seen worse. Yeah, I've got a sense of it. It's a little stark still, but okay, right. Let's do the shadow on this barn now. This is really quite dark. I could have joined that dark. I probably want to join that dark. But let's go back to our brownish, bluish grey with our ultramarine and sienna. Right. Just looking at him. Here's some kind of interesting jiggery pokery going on. Comes down. It's dark through there. I'm just going to join that on. It's actually a shed type, bunker type thing there, which isn't this light, I realise. I can wash over that later. Just leaving a couple of sparkles in there. Join them in, it will go a little blossomy there. I think we can live with that. I'm just going to lighten this up a little bit. These shadows underneath the roof, I think if they go in too dark, they'll look too pasted on. A slightly wider one under there. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Don't like this shape here, but it's there at the moment, so I'm going to have to deal with it. Right, the roof is slightly browner and quite a lot darker than the walls. Wash this on. And just leave some gaps, put some water in. If the values are right, I quite like the blotchiness. Okay. Alright. Okay, I think time for another break. And I think he's not that far off, to be honest. I don't think it's that far off. I don't want to do something of this shape. It's just, maybe I should take it down in value. We'll do that in the next step. Okay, so I'm just going to stick it on pause again. Oh, actually, one more thing. tree at the side. I think that needs a little dark on it. Maybe not a huge amount. Okay. Okay, right. Another quick break, put it on pause. And the final bits, I think, are kind of just nuances of value and a little bit of detail, a little bit of accent colours. Yeah, I think we're close. It's I hope I won't ruin it at this point. Okay, I'm just putting him on pause. Okay, I'm back. So what now? Let's put. Do you want to just change some of the values a little bit? So this is looking a little two-dimensional. So let's put a little extra on this. One of the good things about working this small is that you just can't put the detail in, so everything is simplified. There's this little piece under here which is kind of a brown. Okay, let's put just a little more shadow on this greenhouse. This is really subtle stuff now. I could ruin it. That door is definitely darker. Right, there's a sliver of lighter stuff at the bottom. And again, a softening brush. Take out those hard lines. Also comes darker down here. And the colour up a bit. And maybe slightly. It's really squinting. There's not actually that much value difference between the front and the side. It is darker here. It's a little white sliver. I'm missing out loads of nuances of colour and detail here. And at the top, it's just like this is too white up here. Let's take the white paper off of that. Okay. A couple of shadows if I can be. I can't put them in now. And she says try and put them in now. Yeah. Okay, shouldn't have done that. Okay. Just slightly. Ah. Oh, okay, right, that's another point where I'm gonna leave that for later. A little wash over this. Not to be lighter. Pardon me. Not that much lighter. And some brown in here. A bit more burnt sienna in the mix. It's actually almost, yeah, it's just above a mid value, I would say that. So, it's not very brown, is it? So you have this extra upright, not coming down to the bottom again, also this side. Yes, I think that's better, isn't it? Okay. And one thing I want to try is put some of this rustiness on this roof. I'm going to try and dry brush this. Oh, no, my head might definitely get in the way for this because I'm going to have to lean in. It's not dry brushing, is it? Just laying the side of the brush on the paper, and if the tooth is rough enough, this is just cold press, so it should be rough enough. And maybe just a little bit of filling in here and there. Maybe. Well, these did come out to too wide, these shadows, but anyway, they're on there now. It's a little bit at the top. I don't think it'll take much, this. I'm toying with putting some of the board stripes in. Dab the brush on a piece of paper towel. I think that's probably enough, isn't it? Okay, right. Let's just have a look at this. I'll do something with the back of that car. A little stark at the moment, isn't it? So a little, I think maybe a little cerulean. Just to put a little bit of colour on it, and a little bit of shape. And those tail lights will probably go into. It's just a very, very light wash. It's ever so slightly darker on this side. Okay. I think I'm going to take. I'm thinking about taking that down in value a little bit, but no. Let's put in some of this foliage. Smidgen of black just to. This is just going to be a splotch, really. Does that go too dark? Yeah, I'd say. A little bit of colour. Now this is actually bright pink, which I can't put in now because it's. Let me just put in some pink here. A bit of vermilion for that barrel, which I've been waiting the whole time to put in, which is here. A little bit of blue, which I think is, I don't know, is that a bucket? Could be a bucket. It's a bucket. Let's make it a bucket. Not that I'm going to draw it bucket shaped. A little bit more of vermilion. I'm going to put the vermilion in, I'm just seeing it everywhere. Okay. And I might need to get my rigger out for this, which I seem to have lost. I couldn't find it the other day. Some grey accents just at the bottom. I think it needs to be too dark, this. Ah, I do need my rigger for that. Again. Well, that's it, now it's down. Just a couple of tail lights, just for the colour accent more than anything. Quite dark as well. I think this is dried. Where do they go? They go up quite high. Right, what else? I think we might have to get the white out. Let's put in this pole, which is always scary because you have one chance. Okay, right, I'm going to pause it and go and find my rigger. Okay, well, no rigger, but I did find this, which is some teeny tiny number 2 Escoda. So you put in now. So you're going to untape this and do it sideways. Just looking at it. The thing about these small brushes that they don't take very much water at all. Is this one that comes out nicely, fairly nicely dry brushed that. A few marks for light. There's a little strut. Single stroke. A bit more blue to make that a little grayer. And there's some kind of gubbins on this, which I'm putting in just to make it look more interesting more than anything. Yeah, there's quite a lot of stuff up there, but I don't think I'm going to do most of it. Yeah, there's a line that comes down. I don't think I like that. Maybe I'll put one over here. You can barely see that, but I think that's a good thing. Okay. Now, lettering. Actually, I'll leave that there. Maybe just a little more here. This is mainly just draw in the darks. I just want a little bit of shadow. On these uprights. It's almost imperceptible, this stuff. Okay, right, letter. And now this lettering is so small. But I'm gonna have a go. I'm not gonna write out the floral gallery. Right, so this is this stuff, Dr. Martin's bleed proof white. And they always say you should use Chinese white or something, but Chinese, it's not very opaque. It's a bit of, I shouldn't have done that. Let's try yellow. I just want to put a bit of colour in this, maybe a bit of yellow ochre. Because let's try this. I'm not sure that side is dark enough, but let's just have a go. This one's something that kind of looks like glitters. Oh, that'll do. It's almost imperceptible. And I've actually left bits of white down here, which is very, I could pretend that was all and out, but it wasn't. And I think the last thing I'm going to do, I know I said I was going to do something with this, but I don't think I am. I think I'm good as it is. I'm thinking about something on the foreground, but I'm just going to put in this brush. I'm hoping will be some little shadows just to show that this is inset. Oh, I should have used this before. No, never mind. Be a little line underneath. Yeah, I should have used that before. Well, I'll know for next time. Maybe a little shadow on here. Just ever so slightly darker. Okay. All right, now the final thing. I think this foreground is just a little too uniform. And if I'm looking at the reference, lost my brushes. It's ever so slightly darker just by the path. I wonder if I can just put in a little bit of interest there. I don't want it to look like a big stripe. A little bit of blue. And there's colour already down there, so I don't need to mix it up too dark. Let's see if this will work. Soften that down a little bit. This is really, I think that is actually better. A little bit over here. And just over here, just where it meets. There's a little bit of shadow there that you can. Oh, I never did these bushes. Well, just a little bit more here, although this is not particularly interesting. I'm tempted to take this down a little bit. See, this is the point where you could just ruin the whole thing. This bit over here. Yeah, I think that's better, isn't it? Could have been a little bluer. Anyway. Oops. Classic mistake. Using my colour brush as a smoothing brush. Okay, I think I'm done. I think I'm done. Ah, one more thing. Yeah. this little strut that I was so enamoured with earlier. I think I do want to put that in. It's 2. Okay, yeah, I think I'm good. Right, I'll just put it on overhead zoom so you can have a look. Not too bad. Sorry, the camera's a bit wiggly. Not too bad. Let me just make this screen a bit better. Yeah, kind of like it. I mean, it could do with a bit more, maybe. If I was doing a real painting, it would have more, but yeah, I think it's got something. I think it's got something. Okay. Well, thank you for watching. As I said, this is a studio rough cut, so it's like, I don't know what's going to happen. And it's just me trying things out, seeing if they'll work for bigger paintings. And I'll be doing lots of other things like, you know, birds and flowers. You can see my poor little sunflowers, which are dying currently. But yeah, thank you for watching, and there will be more soon, and I hope to see you again. Okay, bye bye.